Hi guys, today I'm here with my very good friend Laide. I've known Laide for about 10 years now, give or take. We went to the same undergrad and we both left Nigeria around the same time. When I moved to the US, she moved to Canada. And with so many things going on in Canada right now, I think it's about time to have somebody from that side of the world come have a chat with them about what it feels like to be an international student in Canada. And also, most importantly, Laide has transitioned from being a student to being a working class. So I think the content of the video is going to be very beneficial to not just people that are trying to move to Canada from anywhere in the world, but also people in Canada that are trying to transition from being a student to being a working class. So if you fall into any of those buckets, I think you're going to benefit a lot from my chat with Laide today. And with that said, I'd like to pass it to Laide to have her introduce herself and tell us about a little bit about our journey from being a Nigerian or living in Nigeria to moving to Canada and being successful there.
Guys, this is Olaide here. Happy to be here speaking with Augustus about my experience from moving to Nigeria to Canada and now transiting to working full-time job. Um, I like to put out a disclaimer that I'm not an immigration agent and I am not an educational consultant. I'm just going to be walking you guys through my experience from my undergrad in Nigeria to my master's in Canada and transiting to my full-time job now. Um, so yeah, again, I'm Olaide and Augustus and I did the same, studied the same undergraduate course in Nigeria at Laide University of Technology, Lautech. We did anatomy, basically um, basic medical science.
Yeah,
Basic
yeah,
medical science, we all have like lots of dreams and goal and within us, we were not
yeah.
lazy. We were very serious with what we were doing at that time.
Remain.
And fortunately for us, we
Yeah,
had the opportunity to leave Nigeria at almost the same time.
yeah,
While Augustus went to the States, I came to Canada for my master's degree as well.
yeah.
Um, I had my master's degree in kinesiology, health science, master's in health science, basically.
So you have a specialty in kinesiology.
So yeah,
Oh,
not
nice.
it's just like kinesiology, but like the certificate is master's in health science.
Oh, okay.
So like everybody either you're doing masters in nursing, kinesiology, physiotherapy, we all do like the same thing. Your
Oh, okay.
research is different. That's
Oh, okay.
that's why it is. My research is mostly based on rehabilitation for cancer
Oh,
survivors.
oh.
So we all graduated with masters
In
in
earth
health
science.
science.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. I think generally it's very difficult to get Canadian visa. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although
And it
America
became like it became very difficult and like
recently, yeah, yeah. But if you're able to get into Canada, I think there's always a clear path for you to stay in Canada. And I'll say the other way around works for America, where
yeah.
if you it's a bit difficult. I wouldn't say it's as difficult as like American visa. You have just like 1 minute, 2 minutes to present your case to the visa officer, right? And and if you get it at that point in time, you're good. But you being in America does not mean you get to stay in America, even when you're done. So I think that's like the tricky part. I have like you, I have so many other friends in Canada, and one thing that they've mentioned over and over again is the fact that if you're able to find yourself in Canada, there's a clear path to go from being a student to being a working class. I think
And then to get in your permanent
residency.
residency,
Yeah.
yeah, as long as you follow the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's very important. You have to
Yeah.
be disciplined, do what they want, and if you can, you know, do what they want, abide by their rules, I think you're good to go.
That's good. That's good. So a question I have for you is this: where I know you said something about going for a very research intense program, and about reaching out to supervisors. At some point, you mentioned that like, oh, you had to start a year earlier, reach out to supervisor, and get somebody because funding is a very important part of the program. Did you get funding for the entire duration of your program? And also, I would really want to touch on the fact that were you able to work? And would you say working really helped you pay tuition if you didn't get for? Because people have this idea that, oh, I'm just gonna find my way there and then hustle through it. Can you please talk a little bit about that?
First, I like to talk about my touch on about the application process
Yeah,
for the master's program.
yeah.
So for you to like get there are different program in Canada, but I did the research-based program because that was what I wanted. That was
Hmm.
what, yeah. So for research-based program, either to be funded or not, a very important part of the application process is for you to get a supervisor
Mm.
to supervise you. The supervisor has to agree to supervise you, and um, in each admission section, a
Yeah.
supervisor would they're only allowed to supervise certain number of students because they don't want to be
Mm.
overwhelmed as well. So,
Mm.
each professor has the number of candidates or students
They
they're
can
supposed
admit
to
at
admit.
most.
So
Mm.
that makes admission to master's thesis-based program a little bit difficult because
Hmm.
there's so many students in Canada already, Canadian or non-Canadian, that wants to do their masters, it's
Yeah,
easy for them to like access these professors and, talk to them about being their potential supervisor.
yeah,
Unfortunately for us coming from Nigeria, it's a little bit hard,
yeah,
to be
yeah,
heard. It's
yeah,
very hard to be
yeah,
heard. So they would want to know where you're messaging them
yeah,
from. They,
yeah,
they would want to know, your previous course of study. They would
yeah,
want to know, stuffs about you.
yeah.
So I would say getting a supervisor, it's like a full-time job on its own. I remember when I wanted to do it was hard. I
Mm.
literally reached out to, I don't know, it was a lot. I don't want to exaggerate and say 100 or 150 or 500. I don't know the numbers, but I
Yeah,
know I set a goal at a time that every day I would
yeah.
reach out to at least maximum of five
Mm.
supervisor from
Mm.
different school that that their interest aligns with
It
mine.
does. Yeah.
So doing that is a lot of
Work.
work for
Yeah,
you because you have
yeah,
to go to their website, you have to read their research interests, you have to think and think about how it aligns with yours.
and then send a very nice email that shows that, yeah.
Convince them, try to convince them that, oh, I know what I'm doing. I graduated well, and
Yeah,
now I want to come to Canada to,
yeah.
to do your
Pursue my
kind of
degree.
research. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a little bit complicated. So I did that. I reached out to so many professors to just, get them to approve me. I
yeah,
was giving up because nothing was forthcoming. Some
yeah,
don't reply. And
yeah.
if some even reply, they say, "Oh,
No, I
I'm
have students
sorry.
already.
I have
Yeah,
student already."
yeah,
I just I just didn't give up on it because
yeah,
if I'd given up with all the rejection email I'd gotten, I
yeah.
wouldn't be here today.
Facts.
There are days I just got tired and said, "Oh, maybe I should go somewhere else and all kind of that."
Yeah,
But because I have like personal reasons and
yeah,
also for because I know Canada for, what they are. I
yeah.
know once you get there, it
You
will be
you're
hard,
you're
but
you're you're mostly
you get,
settled once you get to
yeah,
Canada. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
giving up was not an option for
yeah,
me. Being a student itself is very difficult. It's not easy.
yeah,
It's it's not the same process as we're used to from Nigeria.
yeah, yeah,
And I would say, can you come to Canada to work and not bring anything from Nigeria? It's gonna be hard.
yeah,
It's gonna be hard. You're gonna be
yeah,
stressed out.
yeah,
Talking from experience for me
yeah,
and the advice I'll be giving people, even if you're coming to Canada with no funding, I'll
yeah,
advise that at least find a way to pay your first semester tuition fee
yeah,
and have some savings for
yeah,
at least
yeah,
3 months of rent.
yeah. That gives you
Because
some buffer.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not everybody that comes to Canada and get a job on the spot. Getting a job is hard.
yeah, yeah,
Some people can be lucky, some people can be favored, some people
yeah,
can, and to get a job that they know that you'll be working to just 20 hours a week is is going to be difficult. So
yeah,
it's better for you to at least pay, part of your tuition
yeah.
fee and have some money
Back up.
for
Yeah,
for rent,
yeah. What are the things that you can really, really touch on as far as when you get here, these are the things that you should keep in mind, and this is how you can really find yourself in a situation where you are set up for success rather
Yeah.
than the system working against you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. In Nigeria, we were just taught to read your book and pass.
Mhm.
Like no skills, no. I mean, if you have any skills, maybe you've developed it on your own or you learned it on your own.
Yeah,
But in Nigeria, we just wanted to pass. We just wanted to study and pass.
yeah,
It's opposite here. You're not just going to school, you're learning different skills. You're learning to communicate. You're learning to to work with teams. You're learning to, be bold, be confident in whatever you're doing.
yeah,
So when I first got here, it was a bit difficult for me, graduate school here. As a matter of fact, the first course I did, it is the student that would facilitate the course.
yeah.
So the professor did the first, and then the next time it was me. It was me. I was going to present. I was going to
Mm.
share. I was going to present to class and professor. I've never done this before in my life in
Yeah,
Nigeria. What
yeah,
am I going to do? I
yeah.
I was having. I was like, I think this is not for me. I don't want to do this. No confidence,
Mm,
nothing.
yeah,
And your
yeah,
presentation skills, zero.
yeah,
From Nigeria, we just
yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
read and pass.
yeah,
Now I
fast,
have to like teach the whole graduate
class.
school. And so, I mean, I did it. I don't know if I do well, but something about them is that you're going to see the support.
So let's talk about job hunting a little bit. I think that's like we've talked up to this point, we've covered basis for people that are trying to move here. I think we should also talk about people that are on this side of the world already, right? And I think you've said something that is very, very important. I don't want us to gloss over it, which is the skills that you pick up in school is gonna help you integrate yourself into the society, right? Like you have to learn how to talk to people, you have to learn how to not be shy, how to stand up for yourself, how to carry yourself, present, and be confident. And because I think by default we like to think we're confident, but I don't think it's not confidence. It's a different thing. But I want us to lean on that and pivot into the process of job hunting because in America the case is very different. It's different in the sense that you finish your school, when you're done you apply for what we call OPT, which is optional practical training. And the idea of the program is that the idea of the status is that it allows you to practice the things that you learned in school. And if you did not study a science course, you get just 12 months of OPT. If you did study a science course, you get um first 12 months and then you can extend for another 24 months. So in total, you get 3 years to practice. And you better hope that somebody sponsors your visa during that 3 years. Else, you're going back home.
Um,
Yes. So and I had to give you that background because it it makes it very difficult to get a job in America because once people see that you're on OPT or you're on STEM OPT, they don't want to hire you because they know you're not here for a long time. You don't have a stable visa status. So can you touch on how that works in Canada and specifically how did you approach the job hunting process and also like maybe like talk about the visa or the work visa kind of thing and how you navigated that. And if you can link that into permanent residency, that would be nice.
yeah, so for Canada, it's not as difficult as it is in the States. I
Mm,
would say, so for Canada, if you study for 1 year, the duration of your whatever you're coming to do, if it's postgraduate,
yeah,
post-secondary or master's or P whatever,
yeah.
because we have 1 year master's degree and we have 2 years master's degree. So
Mhm.
the the type of postgraduate work permit, that's what they give you after completion of your program.
Okay.
So if you did 1 year master's or program, then you get 1 year postgraduate work permit. If you
Oh,
did if you're more than 2 years program, you get 3 years
oh,
postgraduate work permit. So I usually advise people to get a 2 years program so you can get,
more time.
more time to stay and to find job and, to just settle in. That doesn't mean if you get 1 year, you won't still become, as
Really.
long as you know what you were doing.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like before coming to Canada, plan. It can be too much. Plan. Some
yeah.
people kind of um some people's expectation of coming to Canada is so high or traveling anywhere. It's so high. They're like, oh, once I get to Canada or once I get to America or the UK,
Money will just be on the streets for me.
the expectation is so hard. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
leaving Nigeria. That's why
yeah.
people end up depressed, crying because, the unexpected happen and then they just me, I had very low expectation when I was coming. I know I
Yeah.
was coming to
Because
suffer for this.
you've been to you're not new to traveling
I'm
outside
not,
of Nigeria.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think that
So
helps too, right? You've been to
so
Canada, you've been to Europe and all those
yeah,
places. Yeah.
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 People have like,
Unrealistic expectations.
unrealistic expectation, and that thing just makes people up. I did a 2 year program, 2 years program. So after the completion of my program, I had 2 years work postgraduate work permit.
For me.
But
Yeah.
before then, if you're a student in Canada, you're allowed to work 20 hours in a
A
week.
week.
Yeah. My first year of study, it was 20 hours. But then the second year of study, I think post COVID, Canada wanted everybody to work for as long
Mm,
as you can, as long as you're not failing in school. So we're
yeah.
all open to work for
Oh, that's
40
nice.
hour, 40 hours my second year. So my first year, I did work like minimum wage
Hours.
jobs
Yeah.
and it wasn't bad because, you also have to learn to live within your
Me.
means. I go for like the best, even jobs and everything. I don't believe because I'm a student, I shouldn't apply to like good organizations and all.
Facts.
So, and that helped me to get
Yeah.
like my first like professional job. I was a student while I was being program coordinator for collaborative center of collaborative clinical learning and research.
Okay.
It's affiliated to my school and it's a good place. So I was doing like program coordinating there and it was 20 hours. They took
Okay.
me in for 20 because they were looking for part-time. So
Okay.
I got the 20 hours. So that really helped me with my, communication skills, time management,
Yeah.
adaptability. I was
Yeah.
also able to network with people there. And so that helped me. So after I would say looking for a a job after your program is a full-time job on itself.
Facts.
It's
Facts.
very hard to
Yeah.
land,
Yeah.
the role. Like if you're not just if you just if you don't if you're not planning to just do any type of job,
Yeah.
if you want like, oh, I want to be a professional in my field of study, I think it's gonna be a hard work to get
To
that
get
type of
to
job.
get what you
So
want. Yeah.
for me, I set a goal again. I plan for my first year of master's, I
Yeah.
said to myself, 6 months before my graduation, I need to start applying so that by the time I graduate, I will just, transit to working. And that was what happened for me.
Yeah.
So 6 months to my graduation, I started applying.
Yeah.
Augustus, I applied to be a director. I applied to so many places. It was so unrealistic. I didn't care. I
Yeah.
would just apply. I'll say, I have a master's degree. That's a big deal to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. I mean, I'll start from somewhere.
Yeah.
So I applied to so many. I got so many interviews that
Yeah.
it's good even if you're not given,
You're
the
doing
job.
dry runs, you're understanding like how to answer those questions better and also how to think on your feet and give good responses. I think that's really beautiful. I have
I
something to
did.
say about it when you're done. But yeah.
Okay, so I did, interviews. I would be sad if I get rejected,
Yeah.
but it was helping me to get better
At
for the
interviewing. Yeah.
other interviews.
Yeah.
So Before I even completed my master's degree, I'd already landed like four roles, four different
Ooh,
jobs. So it
nice.
was left to me to choose.
Which one that you want to
And
go
the
with?
good thing is, my focus was right from time. I want to work for the government.
Yeah,
That's it. I
yeah,
want to work for the government. And so I landed like three roles in the government and then one other outside the
that's
government.
nice.
And I was so confused on the one to go for, you
Yeah,
know. So at the end of the day, I went for the one that, that I liked the
yeah,
most.
yeah,
And that's what I'll just say. You
yeah,
have to plan ahead. If
yeah,
you're here, I
yeah,
don't know for other places, but if you know what you're doing, you just have to plan ahead.
yeah,
And like I said, in graduate school, open yourself up to learning, new skills,
yeah,
developing yourself. Well,
yeah,
after even during my graduate school, I had the opportunity to get a data analyst certification. It was scholarship. Okay, that would say that was funded by the
yeah,
government. So
yeah.
I applied to do data analyst. That was like 8 months to graduation. So I was like,
Oh,
okay, this is gonna help me as well to, be better at the end of the day. I also paid for um business analysis class because I just wanted to
oh.
get it. I just wanted to have everything.
As many.
I don't want no recruiter or no organization to say no
Oh, you
to
don't
me.
have this.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So I was just trying to be better every day.
yeah,
I got the data analyst certificate from Digital Nova Scotia, and then I got my business analysis from all these online coaches,
yeah,
and I started working. I was a little bit scared starting my job,
yeah,
but I just eased into it. I opened
yeah,
myself up to learning
yeah,
stuffs, learning
yeah,
different things. And
yeah,
while I was in it again, I was like, okay, I need to challenge myself again. I registered for project management certification exam. I
yeah,
studied for it. I
yeah.
passed. I got my certification.
It's
I
nice.
want to be a director. I don't care. I just want to go for it. I
Yeah.
just want to
No, I
like
think,
I just want to get better every
yeah,
day.
yeah,
Every opportunity I get, I want to get better.
yeah.
So I'll put it out here that if you're in school, you don't wait until graduation before you start
We start
applying.
Looking, yeah, yeah. I think what that's one of the big problems that people have. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience as well because like I said earlier on, America is quite different because you have, something I forgot to tell you is that even though you have optional practical training to work, if you don't get a job within 60 days, or I think it's within 90 days, you have to leave the country. So
Exactly.
so that,
would make a lot of students not graduate. It's not uncommon to come into this country and see international students spending 8 years getting one or two degree. They finish one, they go to another one, because they're scared of going out, like graduating and not getting a job. So when I told my friends I was graduating, they said, "Oh, did you apply for PhD program?" I said, "No, I did not apply for PhD program because I wasn't interested." And to be honest with you, I was done with America in my mind. I was like, it's either I get a job or I just leave and go to some other places, to be honest, because I was that tired. And then to allude to your point, I started applying a semester before my graduation, a whole semester. There were instances where I had a very nice like interview with a company called AbbVie. Bro, I almost had that job. It would have been a dream job for me at that point in time. And because AbbVie is a big pharmaceutical company, right? And the hiring manager was like, "I like you. I think you're going to be a great addition to the team, but I just cannot wait 6 months for you to graduate. We're going to move on." Right. So that happened. But what that taught me was the fact that I have the potential to be hired by a company as big as that. So that really helped my confidence to start applying for more places and giving interviews and getting better at it. So I like the fact that you touched on that point. So you have to continue to improve yourself by getting certifications, like showing up, and don't self-sabotage by saying, "Oh, I'm just a lowly international student." You gotta apply to more places and just you cast your net very wide, and you never can tell what you're gonna catch.
Yeah, I also need to put it there that once you land a good job, a full-time job, getting permanent residency would become very easy for you
mm,
because one of the requirements of you being a permanent resident is to have a good, a full-time job.
yeah,
So once you have that, there are different pathway to permanent residency, but the important part of the application is having a full-time job. So you don't
Job
have to wait until the end of your 3 years postgraduate work permit to apply
before
for
you start
under
applying.
applying. As long as you have a full-time job and you've worked 1 year, just put in your
You're
application.
qualified.
Yeah. That's really good. See, that's why, like, to be honest, when people ask me like where would you rather go to, US, Canada, Australia, or UK, honestly, I'll tell them Canada because if you find yourself in Canada, honestly, you're good for most part, right? And that leads me to the next question I have for you before we start wrapping up, which is how do you think? Because lately in the news there has been issues with Canada immigration. I think it's a whole lot of issue about Canada. I think it's much more stringent now, right? I was reading recently about, oh, they're going to limit the number of international students to some ridiculously low number. I think it's about 100 or so. Very, very low. I can't remember the number. I'll probably put it somewhere. When I'm editing this video, I'll probably put it somewhere on the screen. But the number is so low. But how do you think this would impact um, like students, people that are trying to migrate through the student route? Do you still think it's, I mean, I know you've been in the system for more than 5 years now. You probably don't have a very updated information about how the whole system works. But can you comment a little bit about the impact of all these new policies that are coming in place and um, for people that are trying to come in? Do you still think it's worth looking towards Canada or just looking somewhere else?
Worth looking at it. If if you want to, if you want to come to Canada, the news out there shouldn't like influence your decision.
Facts,
Just make
facts.
up your mind. If this is what you really want, I think you go for it. They're
Yeah,
not saying they're putting a stop to admitting
yeah,
international students. They just want to reduce.
yeah.
They're gonna like filter out the best.
That's
So you
true.
want to
Be the
stand
best.
out.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
want to stand out. You want to be
yeah,
the best. You want to,
yeah.
so in your application, in choosing your course, because I also heard that um, you have to be in a particular
Program?
cohorts of program. Yeah, I'm not very sure what the programs are,
Yeah,
but I know that STEM programs would never go into extinct.
yeah, that's
So
true.
you want to like,
Yeah,
look for good courses that is worth, giving the
yeah,
money and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything to.
I see what you're saying. This,
Same thing in America, actually. Even though America doesn't have like a ban or anything in place for anybody, I think one of the big thing is that um, if you go into any STEM program, like I said, you get 3 years to work here. Other people will get 1 year.
Yeah, like I'm not even like I'm not trying to put some courses down, but some people are coming here to do hotel management. Some people are coming here to do like, all those courses that
yeah,
they'll be like, you don't even need a degree to get a job in some places.
yeah,
They know
yeah.
they know what's going on in Nigeria and they know people are trying to move
To
because
leave. Yeah,
also like population of Canada has gone up a lot and like
yeah.
they want not like they don't want people here, but they just want people that can
Control.
contribute to the growth
Yeah,
of your country, which
yeah.
is very okay.
What would you tell your day one person in Canada? Don't use my phrase though. Like, what advice would you tell your day one person?
I would say, like I told you before, I've been here before in the past,
Yeah,
and when I was coming in, I knew that I wasn't coming to enjoy,
yeah.
or I wasn't coming to, you know, I was
Keep
just
money on
coming
the
to
streets.
on the tree. I was
Yeah,
just coming to go to school
yeah,
and work hard.
yeah,
And I'd I'd planned properly before I left Nigeria.
yeah.
I'd put in plans. I know what I want to do. Before I left Nigeria, I'd already secured like two minimum wage jobs.
Oh, that makes
So
sense.
like I just got in and I started working like
That makes
almost
sense.
immediately.
That makes sense.
And I mean, I think I've followed through
Yeah,
with everything that I'd planned and
yeah,
has worked out for me in the end.
yeah.
Um, if there's anything I would do differently, I don't even know.
That's
I don't
nice.
I don't even know. I think I planned well and
it all worked out perfectly.
Yeah,
I
it all
think
worked out perfect. I'm trying to think what I if I have any regrets or if I did anything that I would have liked to like uh
walk back.
amends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I've done everything that I planned, and if I see anybody now, I just tell them, just know if you want to come to Canada, it's not to have fun in the next 2 years. You're just coming to
The
work hard
sacrifice.
and sacrifice,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, it's gonna be worth it.
That's good. I think that's really good advice. And I think your experience is quite unique. It's unique in the sense that you knew what you were walking into. It wasn't for most of us. I mean, I knew. I wouldn't say I was surprised. I, I had a managed expectation. I wasn't surprised when I got here. I knew what I was walking into.
Think, oh, there's job abroad, there's job in Canada. Once I will work. But it's not everybody that will get a job when they come, when
Yeah.
they land. Some
Yeah.
people will take like eight months. It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm not even exaggerating now.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to, I don't know when I first came in, maybe it was post-COVID. It was still like easy to get something. But
Yeah.
now I'm not
It's much
sure.
more difficult.
It's
Yeah.
difficult now.
Yeah.
And they don't even want like students because IRCC are just bringing different news about, oh, student this, student that, student
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
student that. So
Yeah.
organizations are just being careful
About
about
hiring international students.
hiring students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's very helpful idea, and I honestly I did enjoy our conversation.
Mm.
I think it's also nice because we're able to catch up on so many things. We
Yeah,
haven't spoken like this in a very long time.
I
But don't
know.
worry.
I also want to put it out there or advice for everybody.
Yeah.
Try to work on yourself. Like, don't like because Canada said, "Oh, don't come to our country." Not outrightly, but because
Yeah.
they said
We're
we're putting
reducing
the
the number of
car
people.
or
Yeah.
something, that doesn't mean you shouldn't pursue your dream. Pursue
Yeah.
your dream. Be a better, learn, just try to be a better version of yourself.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And
No
um,
problem.
I would see you later. Bye.
All right. Bye.